If you had infinite wealth and the greatest engineering minds in human history, you could build the ultimate vessel. You could forge a ship of impenetrable titanium, power it with the burning heart of a nuclear reactor, and calculate a flawless trajectory to the edge of the galaxy. You could look up at the infinite blackness of the night sky and tell yourself that it is simply the next ocean, the next mountain. You could believe that human willpower, combined with enough cold steel and thrust, will conquer the cosmos. But the moment the engines cut off and the silence of the void takes over, your invincible ship is already compromised. Because the greatest threat to a deep space mission does not come from the vacuum outside the hull. The enemy is inside the ship. The fatal flaw is the wet, fragile machinery of the human body. The human machine was not built for the stars. It is an exquisite, hyper-specialized instrument, meticulously sculpted by 4 billion years of a very specific, unrelenting force, Earth. We are not merely residents of this planet. We are a direct biological extension of it. Every cell, every muscle fiber, and every drop of blood in your veins relies on a constant, heavy hand pulling downward. 1G. We think of gravity as a prison that keeps us grounded. In truth, it is the absolute scaffolding of our existence. It tells our bones to remain dense. It tells our heart exactly how hard to pump. It keeps the fluids of our bodies perfectly balanced. Take that scaffolding away, and the human body does not liberate itself. It begins to unravel. When a vessel breaches the atmosphere and the floating begins, the sudden weightlessness looks like freedom. It is a biological illusion. Inside the astronaut, a silent, catastrophic alarm is triggered. Without the downward pull of Earth, the fluids in the body rush upward. The face swells. The legs thin out. The brain, sensing this massive shift in fluid, assumes the body is actively drowning. It commands the kidneys to purge water, drastically reducing the total blood volume. Then, the heart realizes it no longer has to fight. For your entire life, your heart has been a heavy lifter, pushing blood against the crushing weight of gravity. In the void, it meets no resistance. Nature is ruthlessly efficient. What it does not use, it discards. The heart muscle begins to shrink. It becomes smaller, weaker. It forgets the strength required to keep a human alive on a heavy world. The deterioration bleeds directly into the foundation of the human frame. The skeleton. On Earth, the simple act of walking sends microscopic shock waves through your bones, commanding them to rebuild and stay hard. In the silent, floating world of a spacecraft, those signals simply stop. The body decides that a heavy skeleton is a waste of energy. Your bones literally begin to dissolve into your bloodstream. Calcium is leached away, day by day, month by month. Your skeleton becomes porous and brittle, like dried chalk. A crew traveling for years in zero gravity, preparing to make landfall on a new, rocky world, would face a brutal physical reality. The gravity of that new planet would crush them. Their weakened hearts could not pump the blood to their brains, causing them to black out. Their brittle bones would snap under their own weight. They would arrive at the promised land only to be physically destroyed by it. Gravity is only the first filter. The void possesses a second, absolute mechanism of destruction: radiation. Here on Earth, we live inside a fortress. A massive, invisible magnetic field wraps around our blue marble, deflecting the lethal, boiling energy of the cosmos. When we look at the stars, we see twinkling lights. We do not see the violence. The space between planets is not empty. It is a shooting gallery. It is flooded with high-energy cosmic rays, subatomic shrapnel, fired from exploding supernovas at nearly the speed of light. It is swept by brutal solar storms capable of stripping the atmosphere off a world. When a human leaves the magnetic shield of Earth, they step directly in front of the firing squad. Spacesuits and aluminum hulls cannot stop galactic cosmic rays. These microscopic bullets tear right through the metal. They pass silently through the skin, and they strike the absolute core of human biology, severing the fragile strands of DNA. With every passing hour in deep space, your genetic code is being methodically shredded. Cells mutate, tumors bloom in the dark. The radiation does not just target the organs, it targets the mind. Cosmic rays pass through the brain, scarring the delicate neural pathways. Cognitive decline sets in. Memory loss, paranoia. The brain literally begins to age and degrade at an accelerated rate, baked by the invisible fires of the universe. The psychology of an astronaut in deep space is marked by profound existential dread. They are sitting in a metal tin, fully aware that invisible bullets are tearing through their mind and body every single second of every single day. Beyond the physical decay lies the psychological crushing of absolute isolation. The human mind is the product of a loud, vibrant world. We evolved to process the wind rushing through trees, the shifting of clouds, and the endless variety of a physical horizon. Inside a deep space vessel, the horizon is a metal wall. The air is sterile, scrubbed of all scent, accompanied only by the ceaseless, maddening hum of life support machinery. There is no weather. There is no change. When you look out the thick glass of the viewport, the stars do not move. You are traveling at tens of thousands of miles an hour, yet the unfathomable vastness of the void makes it look like you are frozen in amber. Sensory deprivation begins to claw at the edges of sanity. The mind, starved of the Earth's chaotic, natural beauty, begins to cannibalize itself. Hallucinations bloom in the sterile light. The sheer, suffocating weight of being millions of miles from the only sanctuary in the universe crushes the human spirit. You are not just far from home, you are entirely severed from the context of human history. This isolation weaponizes our own internal ecosystem. You are not a single organism. You are a walking biome. Trillions of bacteria live in your gut, on your skin, and in your breath. On Earth, they are kept in a delicate balance by a robust immune system and a constantly changing environment. In the microgravity of a sealed capsule, that balance is annihilated. Without gravity, bacteria do not settle. They float, they mutate. They form thick, impenetrable biofilms on the surfaces of the ship and deep inside the lungs of the crew. While your white blood cells become sluggish and unresponsive, battered by radiation and physiological stress, the microbes you brought with you become dangerously resilient. In the sterile dark of deep space, a common cold virus does not just make you sick, it becomes an apex predator. An outbreak in a closed-loop life support system is a slow, silent apocalypse with no possibility of rescue. The grand science fiction solution to interstellar travel is the generation ship vessels designed to carry humanity across centuries, allowing populations to live and die in transit. But the void counters with an insurmountable biological wall, the creation of life itself. Human reproduction is fiercely, inextricably tied to the gravity of Earth. In the womb, a developing embryo relies on gravitational cues to know how to divide, how to orient its cells, and how to build a spine and a skull. Without the constant, heavy, downward pull of 1G, fetal development descends into chaos. Severe bone deformities, neurological misfires. A child born in the zero-gravity void would not be a human as we know it. They would be a fragile, tragic mutation, entirely unable to survive the crushing gravity of whatever new planet they eventually reached. They would look at their new home through a glass window, forever trapped in the floating metal coffin they were born in. Space does not hate us. It is simply indifferent. It is a realm of extreme radiation, absolute zero temperatures, and distances that shatter the human concept of time. It is a harsh, violent physics engine. We build our rockets, calculate our trajectories, and write arrogant stories about conquering the galaxy. But we fail to respect the terrifying specificity of our own design. The carbon in our muscles, the iron in our blood, the calcium in our teeth, they demand the exact conditions of Earth. Tear them away from that context, and they unravel. Space will always win this war because it has no biology to break. It has no heartbeat to slow. It has no mind to drive to madness. The stars will not remain unmapped. We will explore them, but we will not do it with flesh and bone. We will send our mechanical children, probes and machines made of titanium and gold, powered by nuclear hearts, entirely immune to the radiation and the crushing vacuum. They will brave the supernovas. They will dive into the gas giants. They will be our eyes in the infinite dark. But as for the fragile, dreaming creatures who built them, we must accept a profound, melancholic truth. We are prisoners of paradise. We are bound to the heavy, blue sanctuary that made us. And the stars, beautiful and terrifying as they are, will always remain just beyond our fragile reach.